2024 just keeps on hitting with the punches. This is one of the weirdest things that I think we will be talking about all year, and it revolves around the 2024 World Championships. Now, of course, you know from the title, today we are talking about Team Canada, and today we are talking about Connor Bedard, because Bedard, okay, look, he has been nothing short of spectacular in this tournament so far. I don't think anybody should be surprised. At this moment, after all the games on Wednesday have concluded, Connor Bedard is leading the entire tournament in goals. He's got 5 goals in 3 games played. He's got 1 assist for 6 total points. He's 3rd overall in points behind Roman Josi, who's got 8 points in 4 games. My goodness, he's been kind of going off. And Yashin Elise of the German team. But Connor Bedard has been one of the best players, not surprising. He is one of the best on Team Canada. He's outproducing guys like Pierre-Luc Dubois, Michael Bunting, John Tavares, although John Tavares did play 1 fewer game. You then have some other guys, Jared McCann, Dylan Cousins, lots of talent on this squad, but Bedard is number 1. And our story today comes from what happened against Denmark. Because if you're taking a look at Bedard and his point log, he did have his most productive game of the season so far in that Denmark game, where he scored 2 goals and 1 assist for 3 points in a 5-1 win. He got all these points in only 14 minutes of time on ice too, which is kind of nuts when you think about it. But interesting about this Canada-Denmark game is the broadcast team that we had on Czech TV. This was tweeted out by Gord Miller on the day of the game. Look who's doing color commentary on the Czech TV broadcast of Canada-Denmark alongside the legendary Robert Zaruba. It's the one and only Jakub Voracek. Should be a fascinating broadcast. Jake has one of the most colorful vocabularies of any NHL player I have known. And of course, that is Arizona Coyotes legend Jakub Voracek right there, doing the broadcast for the Czechs. Just in case you needed the scoop, he kind of retired already, so he's kind of free to do whatever he wants. But Voracek, of course, was one of the best Philadelphia Flyers of the 2010s to suit up for that team. He also was a part of Columbus. He started and finished his career pretty much with the Blue Jackets, but his most previous NHL season saw him put up 6 points in 11 games in 2022-2023. He ended up not playing for the rest of his year, and then this season, 0 games played as a member of the Coyotes. They just needed the salary to hit the cap floor, pretty much. But Voracek's career has been done for a while now. He officially retired, and we all kind of recognize the body of work he was able to accomplish. Voracek was a great player. But there was an interesting moment about Connor Bedard from Jakub Voracek and his comments on the broadcast. Here's a tweet made by Tennis Stalker 88. Jakub Voracek, he ats the guy, he just stated he doesn't like Connor Bedard's non-smile during goal celebrations, and it's disrespectful towards the opponent. At Gord Miller, do you have any thoughts? At least could have tried to add some respect in the kid's name. Such expert Voracek, way to go, dude. Jakub then replies, goes out there and says, yeah, I said I don't like it, and to celebrate the goal is normal. Non-celebration is more disrespectful, so celebrate it. He is an effing player, though. Now, I think the last part, I think he's trying to say he's a good player, but it just came out a weird way. I mean, I say this respectfully, it doesn't really seem like Jakub Voracek has the best typing ability on the computer or whatever screen he's using to tweet this message out. But this comment has got social media up in arms, because Jakub Voracek's pretty much saying, yeah, no, Connor Bedard is disrespecting his opponents by not celebrating the goals that he has scored. And if you have seen Connor Bedard throughout most of the guy's hockey playing career, especially like towards the end of the season against Chicago, there's a lot of stoicism that the guy has whenever he scores goals. The goals that Voracek is referring to in particular against Denmark, Connor Bedard, he scores twice, and then after he scores, he just kind of, he just stares. He doesn't have his hands up, he doesn't do anything, he just looks into the distance, he goes around his teammates, and that's it. It's a really been there, done that, we just scored, let's move on type of attitude. No celebrating, no smiling, no nothing. He's just there being like, yeah, I did that, okay, business as usual. And according to Jakub Voracek, that act is disrespectful. If I had to try to fill in the blanks and put my own words as to why this might be the case in his opinion, it might have something to do with the idea of, oh, you're diminishing the quality of your opponent, you're kind of making it seem like scoring on them is not a big deal. You're making it seem like these guys are not worth taking seriously, so you're not going to celebrate and take seriously the goal that you had just scored. And I can understand that perspective, but that doesn't really make me agree with it, you know? I can put words to it, but man, is that a ridiculous thing to go out there and insinuate. Connor Bedard is disrespecting the Danish team because he doesn't respond when he scores any goals against them. Like, if it's a tight game against the US, okay, I get it. You can celebrate however you want. But if he did the same thing there, if he just stoically looked off to the side, hugged his teammates, and then went to the bench, didn't even smile, like, I feel like that's pretty much Connor Bedard behavior at this point. I don't know. Like, the guy is so used to scoring goals and being a difference maker that unless he is scoring the gold medal winning goal, I don't know if Connor Bedard has any reason to go out there and celebrate any goal that he has scored. And I don't even want to say it's like, oh, especially against a team like Denmark, because Denmark is not as good of a team. Like, that's not even the point here. It's just Connor Bedard is so good that I think he, of all people, has the right to celebrate a goal, or not celebrate a goal, however the heck he wants to. Jakub Voracek doesn't need to go out there and tell him not to do that. I mean, it's hard enough to score goals in pro hockey already. What, like, you want to get on the guy because he doesn't smile after he does it? I mean, Voracek, he was playing in Philadelphia, he was in those rivalries with Chicago, he was a part of that system, you know? You kind of know what you're getting when you're playing off against Chicago guys who are just super serious when they score goals. Like, he wasn't a part of the Philadelphia Flyers team when they lost to Chicago in the finals, but he was a part of them shortly after. So it's like, yeah, you kind of saw Jonathan Toews do that over and over and over again. Was Voracek disrespected by Toews when Toews would do the same thing? Is that what he sees when he sees players that don't celebrate their own goals? I mean, maybe it's because he's in a commentary position and now it's like, oh yeah, he's got to get an eye out and notice this stuff. Maybe when Jonathan Toews was scoring those goals against Philadelphia and not smiling or anything like that, maybe Voracek just didn't notice it. But to hear one of the more decorated Flyer and Columbus players over the past 10 years or so say that, yeah, no, scoring goals warrants a celebration, and if you don't smile, you're being disrespectful to the opponent, like, that is so wild. Like, I don't know, Connor Bedard, smile more. Like, what a weird critique to go out there and make. But either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this entire philosophy of how celebrating goals is kind of necessary and how it's sort of a requirement to make sure you don't disrespect your opponents. Is this the wildest take you have seen come out of the World Championship so far? I think it is for me. Is this the wildest take you've seen out of Jakub Voracek? We always knew the guy was a good interview. I mean, Gord Miller himself even said, yeah, he has one of the best, most decorated and unique vocabularies of NHL players in the past little while here. That's cool. Like, I love that. I talk for a living. So anybody who's able to say things in a very different and interesting way, I think that's awesome. But the message behind it, oh, that's weird. Very, very weird. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.